Welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to review Batman Knightfight in DC Dark Legion. He is a mythic hero in the warrior class, and from the first time I built a team around him, I could already tell that he is not just a normal DPS, but a true carry who can both carry the damage and carry the survivability of the entire team. This video is a bit late because I forgot to check the champion list, and I did not see the updates mentioning his arrival. First, let's talk about his role. Batman Knightfight is classified as a physical DPS with extremely strong AoE burst capabilities, while also providing crit synergy for the entire Bat family. This is exactly what makes him different from many other physical DPS heroes in the game, because he does not simply deal damage, but also acts as an important source of buffs for the entire team. If you take a close look at Batman Knightfight's skill set, you will see that he has 4 main skills, and each skill supports the others in a very logical way. The first active skill is Whirling Verdict, which is an AoE damage attack where Batman Knightfight swings his sword around himself, dealing physical damage to all enemies within range. This skill reaches 900% attack, which is quite impressive for an active skill with only a 10-second cooldown. The interesting thing is that this cooldown is not fixed, because his second passive, Legacy of the Bat, reduces the cooldown of Whirling Verdict by 1 second every time Batman Knightfight lands a crit, and this effect can activate continuously every second. In other words, if you build enough crit rate for this character, you will see Whirling Verdict being spammed continuously throughout the battle, leaving almost no gap for the enemy to recover their team. In addition, Legacy of the Bat has another extremely important effect, which is a crit damage buff for all allies belonging to the Bat family from the beginning of the battle, increasing crit damage by up to 60% at the maximum level. This is exactly why I always say Batman Knightfight is not just a DPS, but also a hybrid support DPS who can take the entire lineup of Bat family heroes to another level of power. Next is Unbroken Resolve, a pretty interesting passive because it turns a weakness into an advantage. Specifically, this skill increases Batman Knightfight's max HP, while also granting him additional attack based on the percentage of HP he has lost, up to a maximum of 100% attack. This means that the longer the fight goes on and the more HP he loses, the harder Batman Knightfight hits, creating a very all-or-nothing cycle that is extremely effective if you know how to take advantage of it. And this is where we talk about the Ultimate Knight's Reckoning, the main AoE damage skill designed to finish the battle. The first attack deals up to 2000% attack, and if this attack does not defeat any enemy, Batman Knightfight will immediately launch an additional follow-up attack that deals another 1000% attack. This mechanic is extremely useful when facing tanky heroes with huge amounts of HP, because you will almost always have a chance to deal double damage with a single ultimate. Now let's talk about the part that impressed me the most, which is the exclusive equipment, Knight Moonblade. The first skill of this equipment, Desperate Edge, immediately increases crit rate by 45%, and when Batman Knightfight's HP drops below 50%, he also gains an additional 45% crit damage. Combined with Unbroken Resolve above, you can see a very clear pattern. Batman Knightfight is designed to become more dangerous the more intense the fight gets and the more HP he loses. But the real highlight is the second skill of Knight Moonblade, Until the End. This skill increases ultimate and skill damage by 50%, while also having a mechanic that I absolutely love. The first time Batman Knightfight takes lethal critical damage that would normally defeat him, his HP will be locked at 1 for 12 seconds, allowing him to continue fighting as if he had never been defeated. Only after this effect ends will he actually leave the battle. Honestly, this is the kind of cheat death mechanic that can make your opponents extremely frustrated because they think they have already dealt with the biggest threat. But Batman Knightfight is still there, continuing to tear through their team for another 12 seconds. In terms of team synergy, Bat Family provides quite significant bonuses when you have enough heroes from the same faction. With 3 Bat Family champions, you receive 8% crit rate and 8% dodge. With 4 champions, this doubles to 16%, and with all 5 champions, you reach the maximum of 24% for both stats. This is why when building a team around Batman Knightfight, I always try to maximize the number of Bat family heroes in the team. Now let's talk about a specific team composition. If you are a F2P player, I recommend placing two good tank heroes in the front row, Batman Knightfight and Red Robin, because both of them have excellent survivability. Batman Knightfight can deal high damage while also having temporary immortality, while Red Robin reduces the attack of all enemies and gains better dodge when there are more Bat family allies around him. For the three positions in the back row, you can use Batgirl, Nightwing, and Red Hood Knightfight if you have all of them. If you do not have Red Hood Knightfight yet, you can easily replace him with Robin, or even a hero from outside the faction such as Deathstroke. Personally, I usually use Deathstroke to attack the enemy with the highest attack, combined with Nightwing targeting the enemy with the lowest HP, because Deathstroke always attacks first, while Nightwing attacks afterward, allowing him to prioritize eliminating the strongest target when they are already low on HP. Nightwing also has a very strong skill that resets his ultimate whenever he defeats an enemy, so almost anyone building this team should have him in the lineup. Batgirl plays a support role by providing healing and, more importantly, increasing crit rate, which is a stat that the entire Bat family team needs to optimize Batman Knightfight's cooldown reduction cycle and increase Nightwing's ability to break armor. As for Red Hood Knightfight, there is really no need to explain much because he deals damage based on the enemy's HP, making him extremely effective at taking down difficult tanks. If you are a heavier spender, meaning a P2W player, I recommend replacing Red Robin with Orphan and replacing Batgirl with Batman Death Metal. The team would then be Batman Knightfight, Orphan, Batman Death Metal, Nightwing, and Red Hood Knightfight. Batman Death Metal also has a similar immortality mechanic as long as his allies are still alive, while also dealing spiritual damage, helping cover the weakness and damage types for the entire team. However, the downside is that he only appears during events, so you may have to wait quite a long time before seeing him again, similar to Wonder Woman Death Metal, whose event recently ended. If you do not have him, you can temporarily replace him with Batgirl to support the entire team. As for Orphan, both her survivability and damage are very good, but she requires quite a lot of investment, and she needs to reach at least 5 gold stars to fully unlock her potential. In terms of the overall strengths and weaknesses, I think Batman Knightfight's biggest strengths are his extremely high AoE damage, his ability to carry the team even when his HP is low, his very unique temporary immortality mechanic, and his extremely fast cooldowns if you build enough crit. On the other hand, his weaknesses are that he requires quite a high level of investment to activate his full power, especially because you need his exclusive equipment, Knight Moonblade, while also being heavily dependent on crit rate and the Bat family team around him. For his ranking, based on my personal experience, I think Batman Knightfight absolutely deserves a tier S+ ranking, on the same level as names like Nightwing and Supergirl among the current physical DPS heroes. He is one of the mythic heroes I rate the highest in terms of versatility, because he can both serve as a durable tank and deal massive damage when needed.
Everything's going to be okay.
So, is he worth pulling from the banner? If you are a F2P player and are building a sustainable Bat family team for the long term, I think Batman Knightfight is a worthwhile investment, because he is already strong even without a dedicated legacy. If you are a whale looking to maximize his full power, getting Knight Moonblade will allow you to fully unlock this character's potential, turning him into an almost unstoppable damage machine. That is my full analysis of Batman Knightfight in DC Dark Legion. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe to the channel to support me in making more quality content, and let me know in the comments how you are building your team. See you again in the next